When people outside of Germany talk about Jürgen Klopp, they'll often speak about his more recent times at Liverpool, managing a top Premier League team. They might even reflect on his time before Liverpool at Borussia Dortmund, but very few people outside of Germany talk about his time at Mainz, the place he made a name for himself, the place where he got his start as a manager. You see, Jürgen Klopp spent most of his career as a player playing for Mainz, originally as a striker, retiring as a defender, then later on going on to manage Mainz. Now, he took Mainz to the Bundesliga for the first time in their history, but it wasn't easy, it was tough, it was a struggle, it was a battle, but we'll speak more on that later on in the video. Let's check out the home of bloody Mainz. Stadium tour time, let's go. Ladies and gents, if you just look around me at some of this beautiful scenery, it looks like I'm in the middle of nowhere. But as we turn around, you've got this, I say about most stadiums, don't I? This beautiful football stadion, the home of Mainz, the MEWA Arena. Just look at it, it's so random. People riding their bike, a glorious afternoon with the sun setting, and a glorious stadium. You don't see many football grounds that look like that. It's completely red. So today, heute, we're going to be doing a Stadion Verrungen, a tour at the home of Mainz. So guys, I'm sorry to keep saying the same thing every time we visit a new stadium, because of course the plan was to cover German football, Bundesliga, Fußball, as a neutral. That was the plan, and I didn't plan on falling in love with Bochum, who lost here last week. So again, go easy on me with the shirts. We bought all of the fake shirts off DH Gate, and we did a comparison between real and fake shirts. But I'm committed to showing you guys back home in England what German football's all about, and today there's no games on. So instead, as I said, we're here for a stadium tour. And as a small town guy, living in a lonely world, I love the countryside, I love peace and quiet. So even though this really isn't a traditional looking stadium, if you were to be a little bit rude, it does look a little bit like a red IKEA. But I'm not being rude, I'm not here hating, I'm really liking this. You know, it's my personal taste is old school and rugged, but I am partial to a bit of peace and quiet. Maybe it's my age as well. So seeing all these people walking their dogs and just chilled out, drinking Apfelwein, or is that more of a Frankfurt thing? I don't know. There is a local kind of wine to Mainz, isn't there, as well? I mean, a lot of Bochumers I've spoke highly of the Auswärtstags, the away days here in Mainz. They said it's good fun. So yeah, even though we're a bit sour and a bit bitter about that result, I think it's going to be a good tour. So when I started this YouTube channel, it was pretty much exclusively stadium tours back in England. And we'd always talk about those cheeky glimpses inside the ground. In England, it's quite rare. You get it with the smaller grounds from the outside, but in Germany, it's another thing to add to the list that's better in Germany. You get a real cheeky glimpse inside most stadiums. I know this is a bit more open than most. Obviously in Frankfurt down the road it's a lot more closed off, but look at it. I know we've got the tour coming, but it's a real nice view into the ground, into the stadium. So there was always one thing or one person that kind of put me off liking Mainz, and that was the connection to Jürgen Klopp. Of course, I grew up a Manchester United fan, and my allegiance in England is still very much red, white and black of Manchester. And obviously Klopp made his name here in Mainz, went to Dortmund, and then later on made a name for himself in England with Liverpool. So if you didn't know, Liverpool and Manchester United hate each other. But now the Klopp era of Liverpool is over, and I started watching videos about the story of Jürgen Klopp here at Mainz. Of course, he was a player here at Mainz, a real leader on the pitch. He, correct me if I'm wrong, he kind of become a bit of a player manager, was almost on trial and made a real success of it, but it wasn't easy. It took, was it 3 attempts and failing 3 times to get promotion from the Zweite Bundesliga to the First Bundesliga? Eventually he did it, and it was the very first time Mainz had played First Division German football, Bundesliga football, under Jürgen Klopp. A real success story. Again, even as a VfL Bochum fan, I can empathise with trying hard but failing, but keep trying, the determination continuing until eventually you get to where you want to be. Again, maybe as an Englishman as well, that success will eventually happen, but obviously it hasn't in England's case. Woo. So obviously a lot of things I say, guys, are for an English audience who don't know the history of the clubs, aren't kind of around German football and following the Bundesliga week in and week out. But you can see 05, of course, Mainz 05. Mainz were founded in 1905. And a lot of German clubs pay, even though we do on the badge, on the emblem in England, I think the German clubs are a lot more associated to their founding date. For example, VfL Bochum, 1848. 1860 Munich, they've even got it in the name, 1860 München. It's good that they celebrate the history, and you know that Germans are really into their traditions. They're not very welcoming to the newer clubs with money back to ownership, obviously RB Leipzig and Hoffenheim. Now, I don't want to make a comparison between this stadium and the pre-zero arena, of course. Mainz are a completely different club from Hoffenheim, so don't hate me. But I was imagining, I've not yet been to the home of Hoffenheim, but I do expect it to be somewhat similar to this, set somewhat in the middle of nowhere, around fields and stuff. Okay then, guys, we referenced the Apfelwein in Frankfurt. Obviously they've not got it on sale at the moment, it's not a match day, but you've got Glühwein. Only €3.50, which in British money is about £3 British. So cheap to get lashed up in Germany. I'm guessing this place is absolutely buzzing on match day, Spieltag. You've got what looks like a bit of a pop-up bar in here. This is where you're going to get your alcoholic beverages, your Glühwein. But if you're not a Glühwein drinker, I can see over there in the distance, Bitburger. They seem to sponsor a lot of German football grounds. Bit of a cafe over there, another little cheeky glimpse inside the stadion. What do we have over here?
bin gerade dabei, die Kabine vorzubereiten, sprich, dass jeder sein Trikot hat, Schuhe und Socken, Hemd, alles was dazugehört fürs Spiel.
So of course, guys, we're in the home changing room. Now, the changing room looks good, doesn't it? Lots of red, of course, the main prominent colour of Mainz. Now, when we were in the changing room, the guide mentioned that they must wear flip-flops. It's the rules. Everyone's got flip-flops underneath their seat so they don't slip. And also, if you do look around, we did have quite a few Asian people on the tour, which is awesome. Of course, Mainz have players from that part of the world, and those fans really do support the players, more so than the team. Players from where they're from, they really do get behind, and it's great to see. It's quite unique that people come to a Mainz Stadion tour from all over the world. But as we move on, you can see internally it is the second newest Bundesliga stadium. I asked you the question earlier on, which is the newest Bundesliga stadium? Of course, it's Freiburg. Freiburg is the newest Bundesliga stadium, but this is really, really nice. We're in the away changing rooms now, and a few unique things that they do to kind of play mind games with their opponents. they're not allowed to put the Mainz badge, the logo, the branding around the away changing rooms. So they put those napkins on the side to remind the away team where they're at. They've also been craftily putting in the massage beds as well. Those were originally in the home changing room. The home changing room has plain massage beds, but they thought they'd put the massage beds with the Mainz badge in the away section. Again, it's all mind games, isn't it, guys? We've seen a lot worse.
Über besondere Szenen im Spiel, darüber, wie die beiden. Falls ihr noch mehr über Mainz 05 wissen wollt, haben wir hier einen tollen Film für euch.
One thing that is a little bit weird when you head down the tunnel to check out the pitch side view, that's normally the best part of the tour, but there were no lights on. Very eerie, very different to go out onto the pitch when it's completely dark. But as you can see, it's still nice, isn't it? It's nice, it's fairly impressive. It's very unusual that you get the corners of a modern football stadium open. Normally they fill in the corners, don't they? We're used to the bowl type stadiums, so it's quite good that, again, a newish 2011 stadium has unique features. I do like that part of this ground. We finish up around the hospitality stuff. I always feel like they're doing a bit of a sales pitch here where they want you to come and spend your hard-earned money, go in hospitality, go in VIP when you come and watch a game at that stadium. They're just doing their job. We checked out a box by Yoma, the kit manufacturers. All that stuff, I'll be honest, doesn't really interest me. I prefer to get in the change rooms, close to the pitch and so on. So ladies and gents, as I said earlier on in the video, my mission was to cover German football from all angles, Bundesliga, Zweite Bundesliga, Dritte Liga and so on. But there is a part of me now which feels really awkward when I wear or have around me different club shirts other than Bochum. Of course, I hadn't planned to fall in love with Bochum and support a German team. It just happened, but I will continue to try and be somewhat neutral and cover all kinds of clubs whilst I'm in Germany. Mainz, you've got my respect. It's been a couple of weeks now since we went there with Bochum. Well, I didn't go there, but Bochum lost in Mainz 2-0. This shirt here again was part of that video I mentioned earlier on where we bought shirts from every Bundesliga club. This is a real shirt from maybe 8-9 years ago. A really nice shirt by Lotto. What do you guys think of Mainz? What do you think of their stadium? Do you like it? It's in a really unique setting. Some people like those quirky, unique grounds, but we normally use those words to describe the old grounds. Very rarely do we call a new, modern stadium quirky and unique. But this one definitely was. I enjoyed it. As I said, I like peace and quiet. The fact that people were walking their dogs around the ground appealed to me, who isn't a fan of the busy city, that kind of setting. But we do have more stadiums. The one coming up, maybe in the next week, is really not going to be a popular one, but we did check out the home of Hoffenheim, which isn't even in Hoffenheim, it's in Sinsheim, but it's a very interesting, it was an interesting tour to say the least, and we're going to talk about some of the controversial background of Hoffenheim. Check out the last video where we looked at those awesome Bochum tricos. Ladies and gents, thanks for watching. Auf Wiedersehen.